that? How do you like the song? This was a song by Kurhan, who was serving in Kraken. He maybe still serves there, but I'm not sure. This is why. Yeah, this song is called Любопытство, which is Surjik also, which is curiosity. It translates like curiosity. It's pretty much about the bad dream, but with some bigger meaning to it, you know. Awesome song, awesome guy, this Kurhan. He actually transformed Surjik into something something bigger than just a funny mix of Russian and Ukrainian. And so a lot to tell you, a lot to share, but it as catchy, good beat song, even though I don't speak Ukrainian. Hey, 1000 from Martin Bissig to tires
Ford
and
Tire and the
liquids.
kids.
That's amazing. Guys, have you noticed that the bottom progress bar is on 100%? Is on 100%. That's fucking awesome. You know what? I actually don't know what happened, but someone closed this fundraiser, I think. Mickey from Kimira Group asked their friend, the journalist Lev Kostek, just like before, and he closed it through his community. The last $2,000 were actually covered with someone else's help. I think it was a help of Ukrainians. Maybe it was one of you guys. I'm not sure. Let me know if some of you donated and closed this fundraiser. Maybe it was one of you rollers. Okay, my friends. So, what do I want to show you? I actually made myself a list of things that I wanted to tell you and show you today. So, let me just get to the first part. Here it is. But I need to work on putting the screen back to the screen. I mean, my browser. So, yeah, this one. Awesome. So, my friends, we are currently auctioning 3 items, and it's going to be more items because I have new paintings from Lisa, and I'm going to be placing them to the service, to the page, to our auction page. Oh, why our, not mine, because it's all of you rollers. Hey, actually, Tuna made a new bid on this book of Lena. $95, but actually Lena sent me a video of this book, inside of this book, and I wanted to show it to you. So that's the first on my list. Here it is. Let's watch it. It's actually with sound. Oh yeah, you can hear how pages are turning. Yeah, so there are some illustrations there. This is a book of Crimean Tatar writer. Lena doing it pretty good. I like it. His name is Bekir Ablayev. Moments of Happy Childhood. By donating to this book, by bidding on the auction and then eventually winning it and donating, you will sponsor Lena's fundraiser for the Festival of Crimean Tatar Literature that she wants to start here in Kyiv. So guys, current bid is $95. I ask you kindly to outbid Tune, because the main thing about auctions is the biggest bid, and that means the biggest donation to, in this case, a cause of Crimean Tatar culture being preserved. But I gotta show you something else, and it's just gonna be fantastic. You're gonna love it, guys. El Greco sent me a package from Kursk Oblast. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be obvious that he's from there. So he sent it to me from there. I mean, after I show you what it is. But yeah, There are a few things inside. Let's begin. Let's begin with the main one, and we gotta figure out together what the hell we do with it, because I don't know. There are two options. There's a raffle option and auction option, and I don't know if I should start a poll, but maybe just to see how many of you will want to get this item, and if it's many, then it's raffle for sure. Anyway, guys, an item from El Greco. Just behold. You will know what it is when I show it. That's a dry ration. That's a trophy dry ration of the fucking Russian army. And it says from Kursk peoples. El Greco actually asked me to write the missing letter there. People's Republic with love, El Greco. You see, guys? So that's a trophy dry ration of Russians. And there's a fun fact there. It holds the place of where it was made, and you know how it is called? It is the town of Hryazi, Hryazinsky Rayon, which is translated like a town of dirt, and a town of dirt district, of dirty district. Oh no, such delicious cuisine. Yes. It's made of sawdust and hatred. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I see you're all puking. But El Greco loves to send these things here. Dry ration from Russians, from Kursk People's Republic with love, from El Greco. Guys, I think some of you will definitely want this. So this one is called "Не для продажи." I mean, it can be translated like "not for sale," but yeah, it's orc food. Perfect. I love your messages, guys. So in Russian, it is called "индивидуальный рацион питания," just like Starsky says it, you know. And what does it say in here? Dirt. A town of dirty district. Really, guys, it is written in here. Look, come on, focus on it. Yeah, so it says Грязинский район, город грязи, улица Чайковского, дом 4. Грязинский пищевой комбинат. The Грязинский food factory, something like that. So this dry ration is gonna stay here. By the way, guys, I got the name for truck plates of our latest truck. It was number 423. I am so happy that we keep raising for those, because it's been yeah, it's been quite of a journey. Guys, but that's not all that he sent me. Friends, other ugly things that El Greco sent to me. I don't like them. I don't like to hold them in my arms, and I don't know what to do with them, because do you really want the trophy patches from Russians? The one ugly with Z and the other ugly with Z. Ooh, bleh. You know, I think you should give those patches a ritual burn-in. Yeah, we should do it. Why Ukraine? I really think we should do it. But there are some people who want the Russian trophy patches. I know that Philip Oward and Hoof-Hearted were were challenging each other for a Wagner patch, a trophy Wagner patch. But Wagner patch is one thing. It's more valuable than this shit. So does anyone want any of that shit? Well, guys, you know what? We actually have an item already on the, how do you call that platform? My mini auction. Here we have this ugly patch, Sila v Pravde, which is the strength is in truth, meaning in their fucking lies. And Andreas Lech has already bid for that one, so that means you want it. Some of you want it, so I maybe should place these on the auction, and we will make money for the fund raisers if some of you want them. But anyway, I think the main item in this package from El Greco, yes, burn them. I see it. I see. Yeah. We probably need to burn them. So, guys, the main item in this package from El Greco from Kursk is this, and I'm still not showing it, but I'm gonna show it. It is a key from Kursk. It says, hey, someone just become a member on the base. I think it's Agnes K. So guys, this key from Kursk, so you can actually, like, you know that there's always a key from the city, and this one says Kursk on it, and it's flat. It's not a real key. It's a magnet for your fridge, and it was taken from Kursk. So that's a symbolical thing that says Kursk, and it was taken from Kursk People's Republic by brave Ukrainian defenders. So this thing, I see this thing will be in demand. I'm putting this one probably on the auction, but who knows? Maybe a raffle will do too. I'm not sure. Is it a fridge magnet? Yeah, a fridge magnet. That is cool. I'm being invaded by slugs, says Wheat Creep. Okay, got it. Wow, that is awesome. Yeah, guys. So this is awesome, and I'm wondering if we need to put it on the raffle, because I see most of you like this one. So Dry Ration is definitely gonna go on the auction because a lot of you hate it. That means probably this one goes to the raffle. Tell us about Fuzzy. Fuzzy serves in the International Legion of GUR, which is the main Directorate of Intelligence of Ukrainian Ministry of Defense. And he will tell more about himself when he's going to join us. But I'm hyped to have him today. He's good at speeches, guys, believe me. I did an interview with him about 3 months ago on handover event. So Fuzzy unfortunately is not able to show us his face because he's concerned about his family and his privacy, and he is not a regular military, you know. He's a reconnaissance group, well, not group, he's a reconnaissance, basically. What GUR does, GUR is this like a special unit. So being there, you better hide your face, because, but I know that he is legit because we met on the handover event when he received one of the NAFO trucks. So he's driving one of those, and it was given to him by Florence. You remember Florence from Belgium? She's amazing. She's fantastic. So 214th separate special battalion. So up for Ukraine, they are from special forces, and they need 3 electronic warfare devices for 3 cars, which is, I'm sorry, each one is 150,000 hryvnias, and they need 3 of them, so we need to raise 450, but they have raised almost 50,000 hryvnias themselves. That means they are what? They need just 400,000 from us, because they managed, but unfortunately it's stuck, guys. It's stuck, and for 2 months they cannot move above the 50,000. So Allah asked me to help, and I I really am happy to help. I put them in line 2 months ago, and their turn is finally here. So they are next in line, and we're raising for this. A big sum of money, $10,000. That's what we need to raise. But we're gonna make it in 3 or 4 weeks. I know us rollers. We always not just pay our debts, but we reach our goals. And our guest is joining us. Welcome, Fuzzy.
How you doing, bro?
Pretty good. Super tired, but good. So I hope I'm not gonna be a sleepy pile of shit through this conversation. I really hope so. Welcome, and rollers are curious about you. So please tell us all you want about yourself, all you can. You were giving me an interview a few months ago, so you've already told us something about you, but hearing it once again would be awesome to refresh our memory. And yeah, some of the people are new to this community too, so they may not know who you are. So it's the microphone is yours, my friend.
Sure, cheers. So my name's I'm in Raw Legion, which is the National Defence Intelligence of Ukraine. I'm part of a mortar team. Also, well, we've kind of transitioned over to a heavy weapons team. So we operate 50 cal machine gun, the Mark 19s, the mortars, anything that's basically fire support to cover troops. That is basically what we do now. So we've expanded just from being mortars to a little bit more. So now it's good that we have a bit more variety as well. And it's also, if we can't implement one thing, we can now implement multiple things as well. So yeah, I was in a different unit. I was in a Ukrainian unit before I moved over to the Legion. Unfortunately, I got injured in that unit, so I had to basically. I was working with a load of Ukrainians who speak English, which isn't a problem, but the fact of when I'm sat there trying to tell people, like, I think I'm bleeding, like, can you check? And they're just looking at me like, I don't know what you're talking about. It was a bit of the language barrier was the main reason. But over to Gore Legion, basically just being able to do more on the battlefield with obviously English speakers, because I feel as if you can all speak English, there's more communication, you can do more. Because I was very restricted into what I can actually do, because I didn't want to go do something that they didn't know what I was doing, because then it's just dangerous for everybody around. But no, here, I've really enjoyed it. There's good days, there's bad days, but the operations that we do within Gore Legion are they're quite. Some of it I can't talk about, some of it I can. But like they're classed as special operations. So, for example, it's basically public knowledge now. So you know the Belgorod operation and all that stuff.
Together with the Russian Voluntary Corps, right?
Yes. So we was basically supporting them up there as well. We were basically just providing fire support and medivacs and research. So yeah, that's basically what we were doing on that operation there as well. For a massive long time, like we were told that we can't speak about it, but I don't know whether you guys have ever heard of a group called Tracker Nazi Merc.
How?
Tracker Nazi Merc. It's a Telegram group.
I actually crack a Nazi Merc sounds. I'm not good at hearing sometimes because it's not perfect already.
Basically, what they do is they dox all of the foreigners, and they managed to somehow find out that it was foreigners included in that operation as well. That's kind of why we now also hide our faces as well.
Got it. Okay, so you were not hiding them before that?
Not all the time, no. So if I was to speak to you privately, or like just me to you in like a restaurant somewhere in the country, obviously I wouldn't hide my face from you. You've seen my face. But it's like, because you never watch the time, it's kind of one of those things where you have to just be a bit careful and a bit cautious about it. Yeah.
And you put it more on your eyes than before. Being more cautious about it, right? Being even more cautious.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Let's begin from the full-scale invasion. How it began for you, what happened next, how you came to Ukraine, what you were doing here before you joined first of the units, and yeah, and all of that. The more detailed, the better, because I'm always curious to know the details. Okay, thank you.
Sure. So what I did for the beginning of the war, I was sat at home actually, in my mum's house, and it was all kind of weird to begin with because it was there like, hang on a minute, it was like you didn't really know what was going on because there was so much media and stories coming out of different ends of the wood on Twitter, YouTube, obviously mainstream medias, BBC, Sky, CNN, all this stuff like that. And then it was just one day Zelensky decided to basically stand up and just anybody with prior military experience just to come and help. And I think that was kind of like the nail in the coffin for me, which basically started my Ukrainian journey. And literally within a month, I got here in April 2022, and I crossed in, and I was at the camp that got blown up. I was literally just around the corner from that camp at the beginning of the year, just basically going through the recruitment process. And then basically what happened is I heard a lot of stories about what was basically going on with territorial defence units and conscriptions and stuff like that. So a friend of mine, I've known him for 10 years, we decided that we were going to go into training and instructing. So that was completely self-funded, all done by us. What we were doing is we were teaching loads of territorial defence units, some civilians as well. We were teaching them infantry tactics, medicals, even armoured infantry stuff, anti-tank stuff. We were teaching everything that we possibly could that would just benefit the guys. And it did work. We had a lot of guys that came back to us saying thank you. There was one team that we had. There was one. They took. So out of the two teams that we taught, we had one team that didn't want any training, and then we had one team that did do training. And they deployed off to Bakhmut, and then the team that didn't take any training, they took 75% casualties. And the team that was trained by us in basic medical and infantry's tactics and stuff like that, they literally took, I think it was only one or two casualties, and they weren't even severe. It was light concussions, which to us was a massive, what's the word I'm looking for? It was basically a big pride thing for us because it was just showing us that it's working, what we are doing. And then everything started to slow down. It got to the point where we were relying massively on obviously public funding, from donations, etc. And it got to the point where sometimes like we couldn't even eat properly. Like we were having like, I don't know, like a packet of crisps for breakfast and then milk or something like that, and it just wasn't working. We just couldn't keep it up anymore. So we done that for a year, and then that's when we decided that we were going to join obviously the militaries, and we were going to go and put our, what we're good at to use. And we've basically been doing that ever since now. But yeah, since the full-scale invasion, it's been a very, very bumpy ride. I didn't really want to come to begin with because it was like I've got a little boy at home as well. My family was very, very worried and upset, and I didn't really want to come to begin with. But when I got here, it kind of all like clicked, and it's like I've just wanted to stay until the war is completely over.
Okay, so obviously you want me to turn my mic back on because I heard a big pause there. um, I would say a loud pause. Anyway, thank you for sharing your story. You mentioned you have kid back home. How old is he?
So my little boy, he's 5.
5 years old, and um I don't know. I probably won't be asking more about your kid. Anyway, I cannot imagine how worried your family is. But you served in the military before the full-scale invasion, right? You served in the military back home.
Hmm. Yeah, so I was in the British Army for 5 years. I served in an armoured infantry battalion. So it was basically infantry, apart from we just used like a warriors, which is the British of a like equivalent of a Bradley, basically. If for anybody that doesn't know what a warrior is, think of a Bradley just with a little bit of a bigger cannon and less fire rate.
I want to ask you, what, how was it? How was it to be engaged in that operation? You say you can tell us something. You cannot tell us some things and tell us about some of the operations. So I want you to share the first-hand experience of being engaged in the fight against Russians. Like, tell us what it is, how it is, what are the challenges, what are the complications, what are the, I don't know, good. Maybe there is something that you can say that, well, probably you cannot say that you liked something, but I don't know, maybe, who knows. So please tell us anything, and it should be I don't know, it should not be anything, just anything you want. So please, my friend, share your story about how it is to fight here in Ukraine. Thank you.
Sure, bro. No. Um, so the first time I went to the front line, I was in Zaporizhia. I can't say exactly what part of Zaporizhia I was in, but I was operating a 120 mil SANI mortar. It's a Soviet mortar system, and basically what we were doing, because of the ammunition restraints that we had, we were basically just firing like white phosphorus, or also known as Willy Pete, basically just smoke rounds, just to basically put a screen up of smoke between obviously our guys as well as the Russians. And we're also slinging it at them, trying to get it in their trench as well, which is great. But no, so I was doing it was very difficult to begin with because I'd been in small firefights and stuff like that before, outside of Ukraine, not necessarily in the British Army, but in the private sector. But no, coming over to Ukraine, it was I went well. It was, where do I start? So I woke up one day and they was there like, "You're going." I was there like, "Where?" They're like, "That way." I was like, "Right, great." So we literally had like an hour to throw all of our kit in the car, and get to a position, which we did. And on the way to the position, I just remember it was like you were hearing like the distant artillery fire, and then because it was like middle of summer as well, and we had just taken ground off the Russians. To our left and to our right was minefields, and because of the heat and like the age of some of the mines, you would just like see like pops just going off in the field, where basically mines were just cooking off randomly at the time. And then we got to our position, and it was great. It was weird to begin with because the first like day, we set the mortar up, we were shooting at the enemy, great. Everything was going to plan, and yeah, it was no problem. Fucking hot. And then the next day came, and then we kept on firing. And then it got to a point where the Russians are clearly, they found our position and they were sending rounds at us. None of it was really accurate to begin with. A few snap crackles and pops where it was like a bit of shrapnel would go over your head, not a problem. But you just like that, it's normal. And then one day we come off that position. I take a couple of days off and then I go back out. And then we're doing like 4 or 5 days rotations. Like we'd be there, then some guys would come out, replace us, then we would come out 4 or 5 days later and replace them. Um, and then one day, like it got to this was like my second or third like rotation, like going in and out of the position, relieving other people. We had a phone call at about 10 o'clock at night saying, and this is in the summer as well, they're like, yeah, no, you need to move. Because basically the Russians at the time were moving back. They were doing a delay in action, as we call it. So what they're doing is they're trading ground. So they're giving us ground, but whilst they're doing that, they're gaining time for that action. So they're basically moving back, and we're trying to chase them with the mortar. And then we get into this position, and it was the worst position I'd ever seen in my life. It was like you could tell it had been smashed to bits already. Nobody really wanted to be there, but we was just like, right, we'll get on with it, not a problem. And then we set the mortar up, we fire around, and then all night it was like you had 2 tanks just shooting at the position, and they were just coming in and then coming out and then coming in and then coming out, and that was going on all night long. And it got to the point where it was like I'll be laid in my I'll be set up like in my blindage, which is basically a hole. If you don't know what a blindage is, it's a hole in like underground, basically, with like really thick logs over the top. And I was laid in there, and I could feel all the dirt just coming down my back, and I could hear this tank. You would hear like a thump, bang all night from both these tanks. And it got to a point where I said to the Ukrainian commander at the time, I said, like, this is not good. I wouldn't suggest firing at night because they know we're here. If we fire at night, we're just going to basically piss them off, and then they're just going to absolutely smash us to bits. And like, don't get me wrong, if it was an absolute emergency and there was no choice but to fire, then we'll fire, no problem. But anyway, we woke up the next day. We're walking around, chilling out. It was a good day. I found a Russian plate carrier, so I'm being a dick. I've put that on just to have a fucking laugh. We're just basically finding all this Russian shit, basically, and we're just throwing it at each other, you know, but being arseholes. And then all of a sudden it was there like, right, we got a fire mission. So we all climb out of our trench, and then I'm stood like next to like 50 or 60 high explosive 120mm mortar ammunition. And we're all talking about what we need to do and what has to happen, how many like bombs we need, the charges, fuses, how many are prepped, all this stuff like that. And then all I heard was it was like a zip noise like that, and then it was just dust. And it was like this. It was just shit everywhere. I didn't really know what was going on at the time. All I knew is I just sat up because it had blown me on my back. And as I sat up, I'd like looked at my legs. I was like, yeah, I've got them. And I looked at everybody around me, and then I just saw this guy with just blood, like just pissing out of his head. And I looked at him, and I can't really see much at the time anyway. And then I've looked to my left, and I've got Dima, who was the commander of the mortar at the time. Really, really nice guy. He just looked at me, and I couldn't really. His face was just a blur, and he was like not even a meter away from me. We've all run into the trench, and then I just remember looking up and just grabbing the nearest guy to me and just looking at him, and then I'm trying to put a bandage around him. I've looked at the next guy. A Ukrainian guy's just dealing with him, and then I look back behind me, and then there's just a guy there, and he's there like, I can't feel my arm, and I was just there like, in my head I was thinking, have you even got your arm? Like, just come here. So I pulled him, and I'm just shaking him, just trying to like feel body parts, and then it got to the point where it was basically all he had was like a shrapnel. I've done it, yeah. It's like shrapnel in here. It was like no blood, no nothing. It was really, really weird. So we just put a little bandage on that, just to like keep it a bit clean. And then I just remember like the sun, like all of a sudden I just went really dizzy. I was being sick everywhere. And then that was when I was there. Like, I haven't even checked myself, so I'm trying to like pat myself down. It was just horrible. And then it was like, I think it was like the medevac came, and to be fair, it was like I've never seen a medevac in Ukraine like that one. It was probably the fastest one I'd ever seen, because it was like basically the explosion went off, and not even an hour, it was probably like 25, 30 minutes. There was just this Ford Ranger that had just rolled up, thrown itself in the tree, and just everybody had basically been thrown on that. So that's what happened with that one. And then I was basically left at the position with another guy, because they were more important, because they actually had wounds. I was just concussed. But this is why now it's like everybody sees me, like, because that day I ended up getting a traumatic brain injury, which is why like my eyes, like I'm always twitching like this now. So that's why I got that twitch. But no, that was my first time at the front. Where it was like my first like week, 2 weeks at the front. And some of the guys I met as well, none of them were foreign, but they were like, most of them were like probably the best Ukrainians I'd ever met in my life. It was like, it didn't even matter like about the language barrier. There was one guy called Misha. And I remember he was like, "You're a medic, yeah?" I was like, "I know medic." He was like, "I stay with you." I was like, "Right, okay." And then like ever since then, like me and him just got on like a house on fire. Really, really good friends. Even to this day, sometimes we still message each other. But yeah, that was my first time at the front line, down in Zaporizhia in the middle of summer. That was 2023, I believe, or yeah, 2023, I believe. Yeah, that was hot.
Okay, wow, that's a hell of a story. So, brain injury, traumatic brain injury, something else? Any particles? Eh, Luckily, no.
No,
That's good. So,
got really, really lucky because it landed like 10 meters away from me and somehow not even a scratch.
yeah, that's really
Yeah.
awesome. I'm happy to hear that. But your brothers in arms were not that lucky, and some of them got injured pretty bad, right?
Yeah. Everybody got shrapnel wounds, some worse than others, but the main thing is they're all alive, which is
Yeah,
the main thing.
yeah, I agree. I agree. That's the main thing. And yeah, that's a hell of an experience. That was very. Thank you for sharing that. That was impressive, to be honest. When people share their experience, detailed experience of shelling, it's always very impressive, especially if they managed to, you know, get out of there just, well, not just, but with a brain injury, and their body wasn't damaged except for the brain. So thank you for sharing that one. More stories, please. We are eager to hear them. Thank you.
No problem. I just want to say as well, guys. So I rescued a dog in Ukraine, at a Kharkiv animal shelter. The work that these animal shelters do in Ukraine, I just want to say, please, please support them. Even now, like I do donate a little bit of my pay package to the animal shelter where I got my dog from. Boston, who's a cane corso, I found him. Well, I didn't find him. I was basically introduced to him at this shelter. And they had found him on the side of a road in the winter, completely abandoned, really malnourished. Like he was just basically bones at the time. And they had him for a couple of months, got him all fit and healthy, and then that's when I was introduced to Boston. Boston, he's your typical Ukrainian dog. He's very loyal, but he's also a little bastard as well. So if I say sit, I'll have to feed him for him to sit. It's very much on his terms rather than my terms. But he's a great guy. Anyway, going back, make sure you please donate to these animal shelters because they do massive work and they're not funded by the government. They're all funded by either themselves. A lot of the guys that actually work there, they actually donate out of their own pay package to feed their dogs as well. So please make sure you do that. Yeah, so a volunteer does have the same level of training as a conscript. Everybody, don't get me wrong, if you join like a special forces unit, they're going to get more training because obviously their job requires more training. But if you volunteer and you go to a normal unit, like just a basic infantry unit, conscripts will receive the exact same level of training. Sometimes conscripts will actually receive a bit more training, believe it or not, because they're not disciplined, they're civilians. So obviously they need a bit more of like, come on, let's like a bit more growth into a military background. So conscripts sometimes receive a lot more training than others. But it's also because they don't just get a conscript and say, right, you'll go into this unit, you're going to go get in a fucking trench right now, this second. Like, they don't do that. You hear so many reports of that actually happening, but that a lot of that is just propaganda. And a lot of that is. I've never seen a conscript like whenever I've been in a trench, go, oh, I was picked off the street yesterday. I've never seen that. So a lot of that, if you are hearing any of that. But no, the conscripts, they receive a bit more sometimes because they're also waiting for almost like a company to be built, and then they get assigned to that company, and then that company will go off and fight. So a lot of them sometimes can just be in limbo for like weeks or months, waiting for this company-sized element to be built for them then to go off to the front. People keep asking how I got my nickname. So believe it or not, I normally never tell people because it's like people are, oh, that's a bit rude. But I don't really have a filter. So basically, when I was like 16, 17, I've always like had a really hairy bum. And now obviously it's just stuck ever since then. I've just got a hairy ass, so people call me Fuzzy now. That's literally it. There's no like reason behind it. Basically people taking the piss, and it's just stuck. But I like the name. It's funny. So yeah.
What does it mean?
Fuzzy.
Yeah.
So you ever heard of Fuzzy Bear?
No, I don't think so.
Like Fozzie Bear, from the Muppets.
Okay. I can imagine, but I've never watched Muppets, by the way. But I know. And I
So for
know.
the guys in the US and the UK and stuff like that, they probably would have seen the Muppets. And obviously I got Fozzie Bear after basically having a hairy ass. Who was it again? Somebody asked about what's my favourite snack in Ukraine. My favourite snack in Ukraine, believe it or not, is actually their crisps, or as American calls it, chips. I don't know why, but they just don't taste like chemicals. I remember back home in the UK, I'd open a packet of Walkers, and you can taste the artificial shit. In Ukraine though, like you can actually taste that it's a potato. It's a lot more fresh food out here. There's not as much shit pumped into it. But they also do a thing called salo in Ukraine. It's basically like their version of bacon. Um, but that's probably my favourite snack as well, salo. I just like it's. I don't know whether it, like how they do it, but it's you can basically just buy it and eat it straight away, or you can fry it and make a salo sandwich, and it's basically bacon sandwich.
And you definitely tried salo that is grinded with garlic and you put it on bread.
No, I haven't tried that one. I buy the one and it's basically just a block and you slice it yourself. That's the one I've had. But it's like some of the Ukrainian food. It's like for a Westerner, some like you look at it and you're like, well, that's a bit odd, because it would be like fried. But I think that's like me being a bit biased because I don't like fish in general. But no, like don't get me wrong, the food out in Ukraine, I love their vegetables. Like they have like their pickles. It's like in the UK, like our cucumbers are like really smooth. Over here, they're lumpy. And to me, like as a Westerner, I was like, that's a fucking dodgy pickle. Like you can't eat that. But it turns out they're meant to be like that. They actually have spikes on them, and they remove the spikes, and then they pickle it, and then you eat it. So it's a lot more fresh out here, guys. So at the end of the war, I would recommend coming over and just buying veg because there's no shit.
You don't need to you don't need to wait until the end of the war. Come now. A lot of rollers already here, and we're here this summer. So yeah, guys. First of all, I don't know where you have seen spikes on our cucumbers, but we don't have them.
When you first pull them out the ground, they're not spiky.
I don't know. Like, there are those. How did you call it? They are not. Damn. You use some word for that.
Smooth.
Not smooth. The opposite of that.
Spiky?
Spiky. So spikes.
But no, honestly, like even your meat as well. I remember when I first left the army, I was working on a chicken farm. And we used to like vaccinate the chickens back home in the UK. And the conditions were fucking horrible. and you would like they pump the birds like with steroids and basically make them so fat that like you're actually only eating a 30 days worth of live chicken. Um, so it's like you come over here and it's like the chickens like they're all it's like what's the word? It's like industrial farming. It's not really a big thing over in Ukraine as well. A lot of it is like clean farming. It's like they either grow their own like vegetables and chickens and they eat that, or it's like if you do buy it, it's like in the shops. Most of it comes from a farm rather than a company as such. But yeah, guys, like I'm glad that some of you have already come over to Ukraine. I hope you guys have met Rick as well. Um, but yeah, 100%. If you guys have tried borscht, good, because borscht is great. I live off that.
What do you like, vareniki?
Vareniki. What's that? That's the cake, isn't it?
No,
Is
no,
it the
no.
cake?
That's a dumplings, Ukrainian dumplings.
Oh, with the meat inside.
The meat and but the most popular are with cherries, potato. Well, not mixed. They're like separated. Cherries with potatoes with cabbage. Also, they're pretty awesome. So those. Do you like those?
Yeah. So I think the favourite thing I had with Vareniki was I think it was the pork one. Was it pork? Yeah, pork. That was my favourite one. And they just basically put a little bit of mayonnaise on it, and you just mix it in, and it's just great. Really good.
That one with pork is pelmeni, I think, and it is a Russian food, unfortunately, but we eat that too, not Ukrainian one. But those we vareniki, they're just a different form. They're like this, but pelmeni are roundy, and vareniki are more stretched to the sides.
Yeah. I would probably say it's like in a dumpling in the UK, like you think round, circular, but with Vareniki, it's kind of like I want to say like a pasty shape because it kind of like does like a rainbow, then flat, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's kind of that. I don't really know the shape of it. What do you think of? Is it a kroshka?
Kroshka, also a Russian dish.
I think that is fucking shit. I don't like that.
I love it. One of my favorite.
Oh, definitely not. What's this? Is it? They call it a Russian salad or something like that, but it's not Russian. It's basically got peas, carrots in it, potatoes, and then it's mixed in with like sour cream or something like that, and they call it a Russian salad.
Are you sure? Or I don't know any salad in Ukraine that we call Russian salad.
Let me just Google it quick, bro. Hang on, Russian salad. Because it might even come up with taste. Olivier salad. That's it. Olivier salad is a traditional salad. Yeah, Olivier.
Olivier. Yeah, not the Russian one. That's a Soviet salad. Yeah. 4, 3, 2, 1. And let me go and spin the wheel from 1 to 666. And the wheel is spinning. And we're going to have our winner in just a bit. Come on. Who's that? Okay, wow. Number 90. Huh. Let's go and see who that was. Number 90 in the spreadsheet. Go back. Number 90. Hey, Silver Earth from Holy Oblation. You guys are winning the Chimera patch. That's fucking awesome. Guys, this is actually a very good support for Silver Earth and Holy Oblation. Yeah. We love you guys. Thank you and congrats with getting this patch. I hope you're there in the chat, watching and listening. Congratulations. So guys, I also want to unpack this box. This one came from Australia, from a guy who you all know. So guys, there are some more bear monkeys with some special Australian bird's feathers. I don't remember the name of the bird, Barramundi was telling me the name of that bird, but look at these feathers. Wow.
That's beautiful, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So there's another one here, the white one. They're pretty cool. And the smaller one, just like in the pillow, the hairy one.
Mm.
So fuzzy, right? I can call this fuzzy.
Yeah, it's fuzzy.
Always love to learn some new English. So these new ones, they have some hearts also made of metal. So Barry Mundy's mom in Australia makes these monkeys, yellow and blue monkeys, and they give them to the units we help, and they're like talismans, like mascots, lucky charms. I really hope that they are saving someone's life. Fuzzy, you gotta get one of them from us. So
Sure, bro.
next time we see each other, I will give you one. So these ones are upgraded. They have now these hearts. Look how awesome they are, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a gamer before the full-scale invasion. Now I don't play at all. I don't know. I can't. I feel like I'm wasting time when I'm playing, so I just don't want to play. Becoming a workaholic, but
Yeah.
after the full-scale invasion, I feel like every day could be my last, so I need to make some impact, to make some contribution of mine to the general cause of us winning this fucking war. And yeah, I'd better be effective. This is why I don't play video games. But before that,
You're doing a good job.
Thanks, man.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. And it's not just me. I know that I do a great job, but my community, they are fucking awesome, and we need to give a shout out to them, because they donate as hell. They support this. They come to the streams. They chat with us, with me, with you. It is all just priceless, guys. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Calculating. There. Okay. Let me just do it. Send a donation to close this fundraiser. So this fundraiser is going to be with a comment from Rick, the Ukrainians community. Slava Ukraine. And the progress bar should update now. Come on, progress bar. Yes, it just updated it, guys. It's on 100%. And that's just fucking awesome.
Cheers, guys. Thank you, Rick, for having me. Great pleasure seeing you again. Hopefully I'll see you on the weekend.
Thank you, Fuzzy. Thank you. It was a pleasure to have you here. You're an awesome interlocutor. And I noticed that when I was taking an interview from you back then. So, man, thank you for your service. Thank you very much.
No, thank you, bro.
Thank you for your help. That's a very, important thing for me as a Ukrainian and for all the rollers, because they understand the importance of that. And see you soon, man. Thank you.
See you soon.
Live long and prosper.
See you later, bro. See you later, rollers. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye, Fuzzy. Yes, we were also able to collect the money for tires and fluids. We guys are fucking awesome. We closed two fundraisers today, and we moved like $100,000 further in our next fundraiser, and we also supported the Hostomel shelter with $700 today, guys. You're fucking awesome. So yeah, guys, I'm keeping my promise. 2 a.m. and I'm finishing the stream. I'm so fucking happy with myself today. I did pretty well, and Fuzzy did too. You guys are fantastic. Oh, I finally can press the end stream button, guys. I love you all. Thank you for all that you do for Ukraine. We are really achieving some awesome results, my friends, and we will keep achieving them until our victory. I'm convinced in our victory we will gonna have it. And it is also thanks to you. You are saving lives, as Dr. Tuso told me once. Rick, don't forget that you are literally saving lives with that. And it's not just me, guys. It's all of us rollers together. I love you, my friends, with all my heart. And I wish you to live long and prosper and be healthy. And I just want to scream, Slava Ukraini! Thank you for watching, guys. Please like this video, leave any comment under it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can also check the previous part here, and you can become a member on my base here, or Donatello here. Both of them are Ukrainian analogs of Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you, and live long and prosper.